As we zoom into the document setup page, there might be two things that you want to be showing in your interface, so your InDesign interface. So first off is the rulers. So we have rulers up here on the top and on the side, on the left-hand side. To show or hide those, you can go to View, down to Hide Rulers, and that will hide them. View, Show Rulers, and it will show them. Or you can do Command R on a Mac or Control R on a PC. Another thing you might want to set up is these to be in inches. So if you right click on the actual ruler, you can come in here and put inches instead of picas. And then on the left hand side you can also do the same thing, and you'd have to do it on both to get both of them to set up that way. That's actually going to help us a little bit later too. One other thing you can do with these rulers if you want is you can actually drag guides off so that you can actually align things, and you can bring them back over here if you don't want them. And then finally you'll notice that we kind of went into a different mode here. Down here, this is actually the preview mode versus the working mode. So if we hit preview mode right here, it hides all the guides, all of the bleeds or the margins and different things. And then we can come over here in the bottom of the tools section and we can hit this and we go back into that kind of working mode there. Alright, so for the document setup, we want to go in there and we want to change the size of this page. Currently, we already have a document that we're working with. If you were going to go and create a new document for a different project, we'd go File, New, Document. From here, you could give it the number of pages, the width, the height, facing pages, the number of columns, margins, bleeds, and so forth. And that's how you do it if you were going to create a new document. Since we've already got a document created and we just want to manipulate that, we're going to come in here and we're going to go to File, down to Document Setup, and this is going to give us some of those options to manipulate. So first off, we're going to come in here and we're going to change the size of the document. You'll notice over here we've got a ton of space, white space on the top and the bottom, and we kind of just want to shrink that down so it's right on our design. So we're going to change the height to 4.5 inches. Now if you're not seeing inches here, instead of you're seeing something a little bit stranger, it's probably the picas. At this point you could just type in IN and it will convert it once you get out of this box, or you can come in and go back out of this box and change the rulers to inches again, and that should change these settings here. Once I put in the 4.5 inches, we have the preview selected down here, so that's why it jumped. If we hit preview, it shows us what it's going to do, and then we can hit OK, and you'll notice all of that extra space is now gone. So the next thing we want to do is we want to set up the number of the pages. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, we only have 12 pages set up right now. We don't have a spread on this final one. So if we come all the way back up here to the top and we go File, Document Setup, we can see, hey, we've got 12 pages. We want 13 pages, and then we're going to hit OK. We can come down to the very bottom again. You'll notice we have an extra white page at the bottom, which we will need a little bit later. Coming back up to the document setup, we want to set up the bleed on all the sides. And then notice that what facing pages are, and we already have it checked, and so we can kind of see what that is. So first off, let's get the bleed. And the bleed, what this is going to be is it's going to allow the color or images or other elements of the page to be printed at a larger scale. So when we get it printed at a printer, that can be cut off and we get a full bleed, or the colors or the image going all the way to the edge of the page. Because each printer prints a little bit different, they've got a calibrating a little bit, might be a little bit off. Having that full bleed allows us to not have like white little slivers as we go and we trim our project. So what we're going to do is we're going to go File, we're going to go to Document Setup again, and down here we've got bleed and slug settings. You'll notice on the bleed ones over to the right, it's got this little chain icon. That means that if I change one of these, it's going to change all of them. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to put 0.125. I'm going to click on another one of these boxes, and you'll notice it goes in and adds in that bleed area to my document. And then I'm going to hit OK. Once I've got hit OK, right, it's got it applied. You can see that bleeds on everything. once again, let's go File, Document Setup. You'll notice that it has facing pages checked right here. If I uncheck that, let me show you what that looks like. It's actually only going to put one page. We've got this other kind of element bleeding off the page, but that wouldn't get printed. If we hit facing pages again, it gives us kind of the spread. So it shows us maybe the very top one is the cover, and then we've got, say in a book, you've got your spread. When you open up the book, you've got page on the left and a page on the right, and that kind of demos that pretty well here in InDesign. So I'm going to hit OK. We want facing pages checked, and that's what we need to do to get the document setup instructions all completed.